So after years, my faithful little Indy finally gave me the dreaded error about its real-time clock being dead. Specifically, this real-time clock. The Dallas Semiconductor DS1386, which I've already pulled loose from the socket. I'll just lift it up here. You can't get these anymore. There are some instructions online where you can Dremel into the right section here and replace the battery. Now, for some of my other SGI devices, I went ahead and bought from Glitchworks the other model of Dallas Semiconductor, but this particular one using the Indies, there's not really a suitable counterpart, whereas, the nice gentleman at Glitchworks has produced these that work for the other models. This guy is going to require some dremeling. Now, he does sell a board that you can put on top, but I'm just going to dead bug and glue a like glue a component down. But I'm going to dead bug glue a battery mount on top and just solder some leads on the battery terminals, because I think it's just the best I'm going to do. But this guy's been running reliably, keeping time since 1996, so it's one of the better batteries I've got. Granted, the oldest functioning battery that I replaced is this one from 1993, and that award goes to the Centrus 610 that I made the other video about. The voltage on this was barely measurable, but somehow it was still barely keeping time. Not very well, so it got replaced. But that's the oldest one I've ever pulled from a system, was, year 2021 and a battery from 1993. So before I get started, just wanted to show what I did here. I've covered the leads in Kapton tape. Poor man's ESD bench. I don't really have a bench that I'm going to go in the grinding area of the garage. And I'm going to grind off, or attempt to grind off the face of this to get down to where the clock battery is. And because I don't want to be distracted running a camera the whole time, I'm not going to. I'm going to cut the camera for this and trim into it. I'm going to show you guys hopefully a successful result and where I cut in, and I'll talk about more as I do it, and maybe I'll make a few videos showing me doing it after I do the first one, but I don't want to be thinking about the camera while I'm doing it, so I'll be back.
So this is a voiceover that's recorded a bit later. I'm not going to go into programming the PROM in this video, but you can Google how to program the PROM on one of these after replacing the battery. It's not very complicated. There's a lot of Google results for that. It's pretty straightforward. The dog face you see here on the left is where I'm actually going to start cutting. So I'm holding the vise and using a diamond cutting disc. I'm wearing a face shield and a respirator. This ended up generating a lot of very fine dust, so I definitely wear a respirator if you're going to do this, at least an N95. Along with a face shield if you're going to use the cutting wheel like this, because those can come off and explode. Voice of experience, not good. So, that being said, did the cutting down in here. I ended up switching Dremel tips to a smaller rounded Dremel tip once I got the battery exposed, and you can see the tab on top. And what I did is I used some isopropyl alcohol here, and I would spray the isopropyl to carry away the fine dust and the powder so I could see what I was working with. Here's a shot of my hand showing the really fine dust. This just got all over me. So again, make sure you wear a respirator if you're going to grind into it with a Dremel like this. Probably not good for your lungs. There she is on top. You can see there's a tab still attached, and on the bottom left there's a tab I'm actually going to break, not being as gentle as I should have. I do end up salvaging that by soldering a lot of flux paste and solder. So on the lower left there's a tab kind of hidden out of shot, and you can just make out the metal tab hanging out there for the top of the battery. Battery is completely dead, flatter than a doornail. I mean, just dead as all it could be. I had some junky little 2032 cases from Amazon for some kids' toys I'd fixed, so I just used those, and you know what? It worked fine. It's got a switch on it too, and it's got a little screw cap. I mean, it worked. It's fully enclosed. I actually thought it looked kind of nice. I used some hot glue and hot snotted the crap out of it, so I mean, it's hot glued on the top of it and kind of just laying out there, but looked on the board, doesn't look terrible. It works. Hopefully get another 30 years of good use out of this thing and, restore some life to it. That's it.